All right, we're doing a video for Andrew, fella I was talking to on the phone, helping him with his horse a little bit. And I got to help his partner too. They've got quite a few horses that they're working. And I was talking to him about having his horse's head lower because the horse he has is rigid. And when he goes to touch that horse anywhere past the withers, her head goes up more. So I was talking to him about a technique to get the horse to lower their head and just learn to soften up in their neck and things like that. How I like to start is I'll start, if the horse is getting grouchy up here, he's not. So I'm just going to show you the technique. I don't really have any horses that do that. So this is just hopefully so you can understand how to start going about it. But I'll just put my hands as close as I can to the problem area without inducing the problem. And see, he's thinking about those cattle, and I'll just rock and see right here he comes to the center, and he'll see him thinking about lowering his head there. So I'll just rock with these hands and not very much pressure at all. And now he's starting to loosen up nice, and see he's going to check this out and his head's going to come down. And that's how I would start doing it. It induces a relaxation response in the horses. Even the really, really touchy ones that are really tight, when you do this to them and you get them relaxed, the change is drastic. I mean, their eyes are rolling back and they'll start yawning and really, really let down, because the horse will hold on to so much of the past and things like that in their nervous system. So this is a way to address that. So once I have that better, I'll start working my way up my horse. And then I'll get to where I can kind of work at the base of the neck. Because he said as he went up, she would get more rigid. And he was a tall feller, and I think he said the horse was 16.2. But whenever you feel that horse rock and be light, you have to stop. And when they go to put their head down like this, you've got to let go. You can't try and force their head down there. That'll make the issue worse, right? Right, he agrees. So now that you go up the neck a little bit, you'll do the same, and see the effect I'm getting out of this horse, where he's completely lowering his head and he's yawning. And I'll just work like this. Right now I'll put a little pressure on with the left, and then I'll release. And especially if they get to yawning, and I told this gentleman this, if he gets that mare of his to where she's yawning when you do this, that's a good spot to stop, because she's turned loose and she's let down, and this horse is kind of a nervous Nelly. So those things will help. And you just get to where you could do it anywhere on your horse, and just put your hand here and have them lower, and and put your hand over here and just have them rock in between you and loosen up like that. And that'll go a long ways to helping her relax and get turned loose. And as you progress, you could do it different ways. You could start to do it this way. But I asked him not to do that for a little while, because this mare also has a really bad habit of pulling back, which all this tightness is interlinked. So I told him not to go sticking his hands in that halter, because if you do that on one that's kind of a bronc, and you're not real practiced at it, they'll hurt your hands pretty bad. And you can kind of get your hands stuck in there. So those are some ways you work at it until you get to where you can just put one hand on and they start to search for it. And then that's a pretty good spot to stop. And we were talking about some of this when you're riding. It's the same thing when you're riding. How I'm using my hands there is how you're using your legs. So Andrew, you guys, I hope this helps you, and other people that happen to see this. Hope this gives you an idea of how you can get your horse to put their head down. Hey, we're doing a video, you can't lay down yet. But how to get your horse to put their head down without you wrestling with them so much. So, there you go.